She was standing alone in the hospital kitchen at 3 in the morning, elbow deep in sudsy water, scrubbing stubborn grease off a pan that had seen better days. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, illuminating her long dark hair pulled tightly into a no-nonsense bun, and the slight tremor in her hands she tried to ignore. Most nights she enjoyed the quiet, the steady rhythm of rinsing and drying giving her a moment of peace after a day filled with whispered doubts and sideways glances. But tonight was different. Tonight, the night shift staff had started to gather. The irritable nurse who never quite hid her distaste for the janitorial crew, the security guard who smirked behind his walkie-talkie, and 2 interns fresh out of college, their youthful arrogance practically glowing in the dim room. They weren't laughing at her yet, not out loud. But the moment she caught their eyes flickering towards the intricate tattoo on her wrist, the laughter started, soft at first but unmistakably cruel. "What's that?" "A butterfly," one of them chuckled, his voice dripping with mockery. "Who gets a butterfly tattoo when they're supposed to be tough? Looks like it's from some secret kindergarten mission, not combat." They didn't see the faint outline of a trident beneath the delicate wings, the symbol etched into her skin years ago during a deployment that almost didn't end. They had no idea that butterfly wasn't just ink on skin, but a map, coordinates to a forgotten battlefield where she had kept her team alive for 72 hours under relentless enemy fire. They had no idea who she really was. She kept washing without a word, her steely gray eyes fixed on that stubborn pan, until one of the interns, a tall kid with a painful case of misplaced confidence, reached out and swatted her arm, sending soapy water splashing out of the sink. "Hey, watch it," she said quietly but firmly. No one expected the calm in her voice, the way it settled the room like a thick fog. "You're lucky I don't report you for harassment," she added, her tone low, measured. But they just laughed harder, emboldened now, circling her like wolves sensing weakness. "Come on, Janie, why don't you tell us about the butterfly again? Maybe it's a sign you should fly away back to wherever you came from." He leaned in close, trapping her between the counter and his smug grin, and for a split second, the air seemed to crack with tension. She didn't flinch, didn't speak, didn't move. That night she was 28 years old, dressed in a plain gray tank top and worn-out jeans, her small frame belying the storm beneath. A Master Chief in the Navy SEALs, with a record no one at the hospital could guess. Her wheelchair sat silently in the corner, sleek and military issue, almost invisible to those who chose not to see. The tattoo, half hidden under a faded soul patch from years ago, was the last thing they noticed before the scorn. They thought she was just the janitor, the quiet woman who spilled coffee and cleaned floors, someone to look down on without consequence. But it was that butterfly tattoo on her wrist, the code name Ember 2, that would change everything in the next few minutes. 10 minutes later, the laughter stopped cold when a sharp-eyed young soldier stepped through the kitchen door. His face went pale when he saw the trident symbol, no bigger than a coin, peeking from beneath her sleeve. His uniform was crisp, the pins glinting under the harsh hospital lights. The kid in uniform knew exactly what that emblem meant and what it sacrificed. He didn't say a word, just pulled out his phone and called in a report that would bring 10 Navy SEALs, led by a 3-star admiral, roaring through those sliding doors before anyone could react. The same butterfly they mocked was the sign of her unit, the Ghost Vipers, a covert SEAL team that had flown into Helmand Province 5 years ago on a mission nobody ever talked about, until now. She was Master Chief Sarah Raven Mitchell, the sniper who had held a position for 3 days without sleep, twice wounded, but refusing evacuation, whose precision rifle dropped enemy combatants one by one to save a convoy trapped behind hostile lines. 23 soldiers survived because of her, 23 families still whole, still breathing because she'd risked everything. But here, at this hospital, at 3 in the morning, she was invisible, just a janitor, just someone to ignore. Until now. The air shifted palpably as the crash of 8 black SUVs pulling into the parking lot broke the stillness. 12 Navy SEALs dressed in black tactical gear stepped inside like shadows come to life, their presence alone commanding silence. No one dared move as their leader approached Sarah, nodding respectfully before turning to the cluster of laughing staff. "You will apologize to Master Chief. This place is under our protection now." The words were sharp as a blade, undeniable. The young intern stumbled back, shame flooding his face, knowing he had mocked a ghost, a living legend who had let him live through silent dignity. The room was quiet then, holding its breath as Sarah rose slowly from her wheelchair, her muscles aching but unbroken. The butterfly on her wrist gleamed under the kitchen light, no longer a joke, but a symbol of courage few would ever understand. She didn't say much, didn't have to. Her very presence spoke volumes, and the general who arrived 10 minutes later, stepping in with medals glinting on his chest, froze in place when he saw that tattoo. He saluted first, breaking all protocol because some honors can't wait. That night, the janitor at 3 in the morning was Master Chief Raven, hero, protector, the sniper who had saved countless lives and had finally been seen. The tension in the kitchen was so thick it could have been sliced with a knife, and yet Sarah moved with quiet purpose. Her gray eyes locked on the sink as she steadied herself in her wheelchair, the soft hum of the water masking the brewing storm around her. The interns, still buzzing with foolish bravado, didn't notice the sudden shift until the door rattled open behind them. One by one, heads turned sharply to see 12 imposing figures stride into the room clad in tactical black gear, faces partially obscured by balaclavas and night vision goggles hanging idly on helmets. They moved with a lethal grace, the marks of years spent in covert operations etched into their posture and every precise step. Leading them was a tall, broad-shouldered man with piercing blue eyes beneath the brim of his hat, a 3-star admiral who didn't need to shout to command a room. He approached Sarah with a respect so raw and immediate that the laughter died the moment his gaze landed on the butterfly tattoo on her wrist. "Master Chief Mitchell," he said with a grave nod, voice calm but heavy with recognition. "This place isn't just under protection now, it's under your authority." The atmosphere shifted instantly. The interns who had mocked her moments ago suddenly seemed small and lost, their cocky grins wiped clean by the reality that they had just ridiculed a living legend. The young intern who had swatted her arm now looked like he wanted to disappear into the walls. Sarah's hands, still wet from the dish soap, tightened into a fist almost unconsciously. She didn't need to say a word. The Admiral's words were enough. "You will apologize to Master Chief," he commanded with undeniable authority. "And I suggest you mean it." Their silence was a confession, an unspoken acknowledgement of the gulf between perceived weakness and undeniable strength. Sarah paused, then slowly wheeled herself out from behind the counter, muscles aching but unyielding. Her wheelchair, an extension of her body, rolled smoothly with the confidence of someone who'd navigated rougher terrain under gunfire. The butterfly ink on her wrist caught the overhead light, revealing the faint outline of a trident. Hidden beneath the wings, Ember 2's mark, the code name whispered among the elite. She looked directly at the ringleader of the interns, the same man who had dared to mock her, and in that stillness was a quiet storm. "You mocked a ghost," she said simply, "and she let you live." Silence enveloped the room as the Admiral stepped forward and addressed the hospital staff gathered nearby, some wide-eyed and trembling. "Master Chief Sarah Raven Mitchell served on SEAL Team 6. 5 years ago, in eastern Helmand Province, she was the sniper who held her ground for 72 relentless hours. Twice wounded, refusing evacuation, she silenced threats at 300 yards, saving 23 soldiers trapped behind enemy lines." The weight of his words rippled through the room, disbelief giving way to stunned reverence. The butterfly was no childish whimsy, but a symbol of survival and sacrifice. A map linking coordinates on that forgotten battlefield, a reminder etched into flesh of battles no one outside the unit should ever speak about. The young soldier who had entered just minutes earlier nodded, swallowing hard. He stepped up beside the Admiral and unbuttoned his uniform to reveal a matching tattoo under his sleeve, a coiled viper intertwined with a skeletal hand, an unmistakable emblem of the Ghost Vipers, the clandestine squad that had served alongside Sarah. The veil lifted. Her humble kitchen became hallowed ground. The hospital, once merely a place of healing, was now charged with the electric realization that heroes walked among them unseen, their scars hidden beneath layers of everyday life and unnoticed uniforms. Behind the Admiral, the other SEALs removed their helmets, revealing faces hardened by combat yet softened with respect and camaraderie. They moved to flank Sarah, silent guardians protecting their own. The interns, once so loud and brash, shrank back, swallowed by the vastness of the moment and the sheer magnitude of the legacy they had so carelessly mocked. Then the general arrived. His entrance was sudden and commanding, a silver-haired man with medals lining his chest like frozen moments of valor. He paused as the soldiers lined up, then his gaze locked on Sarah's wrist, on that butterfly that was so much more. He stopped mid-step, then without hesitation, dropped to one knee, saluting her, an act breaking all military protocol but bursting with unfiltered honor. "Master Chief Raven," his voice cracked slightly, layered with genuine awe, "your service saved lives we can never forget." The hospital staff watched, the gravity finally settling over them like a tidal wave. Words swirled unspoken but felt deeply. This was not just about a tattoo or a janitor's uniform. This was about valor disguised as humility, courage living quietly in plain sight. The interns finally found their voices, stammering out apologies to Sarah, their faces a canvas of shame and newfound respect. The head nurse, who had been dismissive moments earlier, stepped forward, offering a shaky but sincere embrace. "We never saw you," she admitted, "but we see you now." The hospital director, contacted by the admiral, promised to ensure Sarah's position was recognized, that her sacrifices would no longer be overshadowed or overlooked. The admiral stayed until the first light of dawn, ensuring the environment shifted into one where Sarah and others like her could be honored rather than hidden. Outside, as the sun began to rise, Sarah looked up, the morning light warming her face. She was exhausted, battered by years of injury and invisibility, yet unbroken. The wheelchair beneath her was a symbol not of limitation, but of persistence, her body carrying the weight of heroism no prosthetic or crutch could define. This night marked a turning point. No longer would she be the janitor hiding behind the razor-sharp edge of quiet resolve. She was Master Chief Sarah, Raven, Mitchell, sniper, protector, legend. And now everyone saw her. The story spread fast, making waves through departments, hospitals, and military circles nationwide. Veterans reached out, sharing their own hidden battles and silent service, inspired by Sarah's courage to finally be seen. Families of the soldiers she saved sent letters, their gratitude a balm for wounds both visible and invisible. The hospital implemented new veteran support programs, ensuring no one came back to work or healing spaces to face scorn and invisibility. And Sarah, she returned to her work with a renewed sense of purpose, teaching younger veterans how to navigate civilian life and honor their own stories. The butterfly on her wrist no longer concealed a secret mission, but stood proudly as a beacon of resilience and identity reclaimed. At 3 a.m., Sarah still found herself in that hospital kitchen on occasion, scrubbing dishes or pushing her wheelchair through quiet corridors, but these nights were different now. The laughter was gone. Her colleagues greeted her with respect tempered by knowing. Sometimes, when the night was still and the hospital slept, she'd glance at the faded tattoo and remember every shot fired, every breath held on that battlefield. The battles weren't over, but this victory was hers. The battle to be seen, to be honored, to be understood. And as her story spread beyond those hospital walls, it became a rallying cry to recognize the hidden warriors among us, bearing scars beneath ordinary faces, deserving not just of respect, but of justice. Because heroes don't always wear medals or stand on stages. Sometimes they wash dishes at 3 in the morning, waiting for their moment to be recognized. And when that moment comes, it changes everything.